Hello everyone, it's JEN-nuh-nee and welcome back to my channel, This Story Ain't Over. Today I want to talk about the best way to track your reading. I feel like I have tried so many different methods for tracking my reading, whether that's digitally, physically, through a journal, through a bookmark, through so many different avenues. And today I want to take you through several of those ways and actually show you how they work, give you some reviews on some reading journals and other methods, and take you through my own Notion reading tracker that I created that you can get on my Etsy store, and just overall figure out what is the best way to track your reading. Obviously, some of this is going to come down to your own personal preferences, so that's also why I wanted to take you through each method. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I have 4 journals to take you through, plus a couple other methods of tracking your reading, but first I wanted to chat real quick about the sponsor of today's video, which is Kittl. I've talked about Kittl a few times now on my channel because I genuinely love the service. Kittl is a really incredible online design platform that has professional grade design templates that can be edited in seconds. I really love Kittl because it's just super user-friendly while also being really powerful. I was thinking about how I could incorporate images and design some quick things for these journals without having to spend the time to draw things by hand. So I created this really cute little quote graphic on Kittl, and I imported this little illustration of a book that I had drawn on my iPad years ago, and I use Kittl to vectorize the image just so that I can make it super crisp, but also change the color of the illustration. Aside from the quote graphics, I also use Kittl to lay out a few covers of books I've already read this year so that I could include them in one of the journals, and I just love how easy it is to align things on Kittl with the very convenient align buttons. After that, I printed everything with my little Canon Ivy printer, which conveniently has photo paper that is sticky on the back, and I stuck everything into my journals that way. I think it turned out really nice, and I love how convenient Kittl is to do fun things like this. So if you're interested in checking out Kittl, you can use my code thisstoryaintover to get 25% off the first month or year of any paid plan, and that applies to the pro or expert plans, and it's for new users only. Thank you so much to Kittl for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into each of these journals and methods of tracking your reading. Okay, if you've been following my channel for a while, then you know that I used to make bullet journaling videos, and I also used to use them to track my reading during the COVID years. If you're interested, you can check out my previous bullet journal videos at the playlist in the description, which includes this video where I set up this 2021 reading journal that I'm showing you here. And that playlist also includes a few monthly setup videos where I actually base the month's theme off of a specific book or book series. So I had done The Invisible Life of LaRue, the Shadow and Bone series, I had done These Violent Delights, and I also did the Folk of the Air series. Now, the thing about bullet journals is that although they are really cute and fun and customizable, they're also super time consuming to set up, and because of that, also really easy to give up on. And that's kind of what happened with me. I found myself often setting up pages and then not actually filling them out. And that's partly just a lack of focus on my part, but I do think that the harder and less convenient something is, the less likely that you're actually going to do it. However, I am glad that I tried this, and I might even go back to it someday because looking back on these pages is just so nice. The prettiness of it all makes me really happy, and it just reminds me of the time when I set up these pages and did this. So it's a nice keepsake for the future, even if it was a lot of time and stressfulness to figure out how I wanted to set up the pages. Overall, I would give the bullet journal situation a 6 out of 10 in terms of reading tracking, just because it's a pretty time consuming thing and it does take a lot of effort, and it's not the most convenient thing to track your reading. Alrighty, onto a much simpler reading journal that was made by the brand Papier. They actually gifted this to me in 2024, and I never got around to opening it until recently, which I'm really sad about, but they were super sweet and monogrammed the journal with my name and also my channel name, which is just so nice and so cute, and I'm so happy that this has a personal touch to it. This journal has a super simple, clear, straightforward layout that is also a bit systematic. It's got an index at the front so that each book has a corresponding number, so that when you flip through the pages, you can easily find the book you're looking for. It's also got a wish list and a library borrowing and lending tracker, and thankfully everything is undated, so you could easily use this journal over multiple years. The one major con I would say with this one is that it can only track 32 books, which isn't a lot if you're a super avid reader, But even if you're an avid reader, you could grab multiple for the year, which is still kind of fun because they're really pretty and you could get them in like different covers. But if you're a more casual reader, I feel like this one would definitely suit you because you could easily use it for like a whole year or multiple years if you don't usually read more than like say 10 books a year. I also really appreciated the taste on the Papier team because they had some really good book recs at the back of the journal for multiple genres. I was very impressed. Overall, I would give this one maybe a 7 out of 10. It's got most of the things that you need, even though it can't track that many books, but I feel like it's still super lightweight, so that makes it a good option. So if you've been watching BookTube for a while, then you probably know Hannah from the channel A Clockwork Reader. Hannah is a good friend of mine, and I was so excited several years back when she came out with her own published reading journal, and she was kind enough to send it to me, which was really sweet. This journal is really beautiful in my opinion. It's got this gorgeous cover, and it's actually full of hand-drawn illustrations and headings that Hannah did herself. I remember she had said that she had fully drawn them on paper and then scanned them in to the publishing team, so that was really cool. I feel like this one is a nice mix between the Papier journal and making your own bullet journal because Hannah's drawings give it that scrapbooky personal feel, but you also get a nice, simple, straightforward layout with plenty of room for your own drawings or extra writing. There are a ton of book pages in this one with lots of space to write in-depth thoughts or add doodles, and the journal also comes with some book recs from Hannah herself. She has incredible taste, so you know you can trust those ones. This one is on the bulkier side, which makes carrying it around a bit more difficult, but I definitely think you could probably just keep it at home and then fill the pages in as you have time. So I don't think you necessarily need to have a mobile journal, but it is nice to have one that you can carry around. Overall, I would give this one an 8 because it tracks a lot of books. It's a beautiful, simple layout, but also really, really pretty. And it just does all of the basic main things you need. Okay, so the notebook that I used for my old bullet journal from 2021 is actually from this same stationery brand, and it's called Notebook Therapy. And when I found out that they had recently released an official reading journal, I knew I had to grab it and try it out. And this is definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, just because I wanted to like try this out and review it and see how it compared to other reading journals that I've tried. I really love the premium design on this one and the feel of this journal with its gold edges, cloth bound cover, ribbons, and it's also got a pocket at the back. It's got a lot of fun pages that have a bullet journal-esque feel to them, including spreads for like tracking your books on a bookshelf. You can doodle them in. There's a review library. There are best of the year awards and a book bracket for the year. It's also got a reading challenge tracker, which I thought was kind of cool. And it's got a this or that page and a book bingo page as well. So lots of cute little spreads that you wouldn't typically find in a reading journal. It also came with these super cute stickers that were tucked into the pocket at the back, which I was just so happy to see. So I'm definitely going to be using those. This journal also has a ton of really nice book review pages with thoughtful questions and additional ratings for things like cover design, writing style, story and plot, and characters. There's also plenty of space for doodling and extra thoughts. Ultimately, this one is super cute and definitely made for an avid reader, but if you're not into like this particular aesthetic, then it may not be for you. I would probably give this one a 9 out of 10. It's just a really nice design, very premium. It's got so many book review pages and actually had some really thoughtful questions that like made me think about the book a little bit more. And overall, it's just like really nice and pretty and the type of journal that I would want to keep around. Okay, now that we're done the journals, let's move on to a very unconventional method of tracking your reading, which is using a bookmark. So if you watch YouTube in general, you may have come across the channel Answers in Progress, and you may have seen this video by them. I had the lovely opportunity to work with Sabrina from Answers in Progress on some research for this video, and in the video, Sabrina created her own reading tracker bookmark. Sabrina is very creative and very smart, and I just thought it was a really cool concept that she came up with, and she was also very kind enough to give me a few of the bookmarks when I saw her in person. I like that these bookmarks are super easy to carry around with you and with the actual book that you're reading. You can not only track the dates that you read the book the first time, but you can also track a reread if you wanted to. It's also got this really fun backside where it's got these little bubbles, and you can essentially color in the bubbles for the days that you read the book. And so that way you can kind of see if you finish the book in like a few days or in one go, or if you were sort of like reading it in starts and stops over a longer period of time. The few cons are that you would need to get a separate bookmark for each book that you read, which could end up being costly. And then you'd kind of have to decide whether you want to like store them on their own or if you want to store them within each book that you're reading. So yeah, if you're actually trying to like track your reading in a more systematic way, this might not be the thing for you. Okay, now that we've gone through all of the analog sort of physical versions of reading tracking, I did want to share a digital version of reading tracking that was, irrespective of some sort of like online platform. And not to toot my own horn, but I do think that my Notion tracker that I created, this template, is quite literally the best way to track reading for me, at least personally, because it's made to like track so many different things that I think a lot of these other methods can't really do. So I made it really, really robust. It's got a book tracker database and an author database. It's got a quote database. It's got a reading goals database, and it's also got a daily page log where you can track the number of pages you read each day. I have a full like walkthrough video, which you can go check out at the link in the description, but TLDR, the Notion tracker template is preloaded with 500 plus books with a ton of properties to describe the book, and so that you have a searchable and like filterable system to look through. It's got over 30 preset views for seeing your books organized in various ways, and each book has got its own page, so you can add more in-depth thoughts and notes there as well, or you can use one of the review templates I've set up. Of course, the con here is that you don't get a pretty, physical keepsake, and you have to be fairly, I guess, anal and obsessed with stats to really bother with filling in half of the properties for yourself, which I know isn't for everyone. So yeah, if you were like looking at these different options and thinking, well, none of these have enough tracking that you want, then I would definitely recommend checking out my Notion tracker. But if you're like, nah, this seems too complicated and I just want to write pretty reviews on pretty paper, then I would recommend going with one of the other journals. Anyways, those are all my thoughts on these different methods of tracking your reading. I would love to hear from all of you how you track your reading and if I've convinced you to try any of these other methods. As always, thank you so much to my Bindery members for supporting me and my channel and making all of this possible. And if you're not part of my Bindery community, go check it out down below. You can get extra and exclusive content from me. I'll see all of you in my next video, and please remember that this story ain't over. Bye!